press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, welcome back to the video classes. Today let us move on to part 48 of some basic principles and techniques. In the previous class we discussed about the reaction intermediates, where we consider different electrophiles and the nucleophiles, and let us move on to the common reaction intermediates in organic reactions. So if we consider or if we restrict it in organic reactions, okay, in case of organic reactions, so what are the reaction intermediates? The common reaction intermediates. So what are the common reaction intermediates when we consider the organic reactions? So as we know that organic compounds, the reaction takes place between carbon compounds. Therefore, the common reaction intermediates in organic reactions are 5 types. What are those? So they are carbon free radicals, okay. Second one, carbocations. Third one, carbon ions. Fourth one, carbenes, and fifth one, nitrates. So there are 5 important reactions intermediates are very common in organic reactions. So the first one is carbon free radicals, carbocations, carbon ions, carbenes and nitrates. Let us consider one by one here. So let us consider the first one. As you know that all these are classified under in general electrophiles and nucleophiles. Here carbon free radicals, carbocations, carbenes and nitrates. All the 4 are electrophiles here. Carbon free radicals, carbenes and nitrates are neutral electrophiles. Carbocations are positively charged electrophiles. Carbon ions are negatively charged nucleophiles. So broadly we can classify here again as electrophiles and nucleophiles, and different electrophiles are here when we consider organic reactions. Clear? Carbon free radical and carbenes and nitrates are neutral electrophiles. Carbocations are positively charged electrophiles. Carbon ions are negatively charged nucleophiles. Okay, let us move on to the hybridization state of carbon in carbon ion, carbon free radical, carbocation and carbenes and nitrates. So let us consider one by one here. So consider the first one, carbon free radicals. Carbon free radicals. So what are carbon free radicals and how to represent? So it is represented as carbon having unpaired electron. So this is the representation of carbon free radical. See here, carbon containing one unpaired electron. Then how to define the carbon free radicals? They are the chemical species which are obtained by the homolytic cleavage of the covalent bond, sigma covalent bond. So between the 2 carbon atoms which containing or the carbon containing one unpaired electron. So the chemical species which are obtained by the homolytic cleavage during organic reaction, where the carbon containing one unpaired electron or the carbon containing odd number of electrons in its valence shell. Odd number of electrons in its valence shell. So let me give how many electrons are present here. So this is methane molecule, okay. This is methane molecule. When it undergoes homolytic cleavage like this, what you get? H, C and H and H, one electron, and hydrogen takes another electron, and this is called methyl free radical. Methyl free radical, and this is hydrogen free radical. Okay, what we required? Carbon free radical, carbon containing one unpaired electron after the homolytic cleavage. So that is nothing but the carbon free radical. So look at here, how many electrons are present in the valence shell of methyl free radical. Valence shell of carbon atom in methyl free radical. One electron for one bond formation. So we require 2 electrons here, and here we have 2 electrons, and here we have 2 electrons. 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6 plus 1, 7. So how many valence electrons are here? So carbon containing 7 electrons in the valence shell. Valence shell. So it containing 7 electrons in the valence shell, that you have to remember. So as we know that free radicals in which the central atom having odd number of electrons. 7 is an odd number, it containing 7 electrons in the valence shell, clear? And hydrogen free radical containing 1 electron. But we are talking about the carbon free radicals. In carbon free radicals, the carbon containing 7 electrons in the valence shell. Okay, now second one, what is the state of hybridization? So hybridization here, let me give this is 2s1, 2px1, 2s1, 2px1, 2py1, 2pz1. In the excited state, this is the electronic configuration, and this undergoes sp2 hybridization. Carbon undergoes sp2 hybridization. When it undergoes sp2 hybridization, it forms one bond with 3 sigma bonds with sp2. By utilizing sp2 hybrid orbitals, it forms the 3 sigma bonds. This is sigma bond. Carbon utilizes 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals and it forms 3 sigma bonds. Here R may be alkyl group or the hydrogen. So here R may be alkyl group or the hydrogen atom. Okay, it forms the carbon, it forms a sigma bond either with the carbon atom of alkyl group or with the hydrogen atom. So it forms 3 sigma bonds by utilizing its 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals, and again it is left with one unhybridized orbital. So this is one unhybridized orbital which containing unpaired electron, So one unhybridized orbital of carbon containing one electron, that is unpaired electron. So this is the state of hybridization of this chemical species which containing unpaired electron on the carbon, since it receives one more electron to complete the octet structure. So this is electron deficient, but it is neutral. It is a neutral chemical species which is electron deficient, obtained by the homolytic cleavage of a covalent bond, and which containing 7 electrons in the valence shell. Okay, and it undergoes sp2 hybridization. Then what is the geometry for sp2 hybridization? So trigonal planar. So the hybridization state is trigonal planar. So this is the geometry of carbon free radical. You need to remember in a carbon free radicals there are 7 electrons in the valence shell. It undergoes sp2 hybridization. It forms 3 sigma bonds left with one unhybridized orbital which containing one electron, that is unpaired electron. It receives only one electron to complete its octet structure. Therefore, it is a neutral electrophile, and it is a neutral electrophile. Neutral, highly reactive. Why it is highly reactive? Highly reactive electrophile. So why it is highly reactive? Compared to electrophile, positively charged electrophile, this is highly reactive because it is neutral. There is no positive charge and it demands only one electron to complete the octet structure. Therefore, it is highly reactive. So this is about the carbon free radical. So let us consider the types of carbon free radicals. Carbon free radicals. Types. What are the types of carbon free radicals? So the types of carbon free radicals. So there are 3 types of carbon free radicals. What are those? Primary, secondary, tertiary. Primary carbon free radical, secondary carbon free radicals, and tertiary carbon free radicals. What do you mean by primary, secondary? Very simple. The carbon which containing unpaired electron is bonded to only one carbon, then it is called primary carbon free radical. If it is bonded to 2 carbon atoms, then it is called secondary carbon free radical. When a carbon containing unpaired electron, if it is bonded to 3 other carbon atoms, then it is called tertiary carbocations. Okay, now let me represent this. R, C, H, H, and free radical, carbon containing one unpaired electron. This is R dash, H, and this is free radical. Now this is tertiary, R dash, R double dash. So here just you have to remember R dash, R double dash are alkyl groups. Then only they are primary, secondary, tertiary, because this carbon which containing unpaired electron which is bonded to one alkyl group means it is bonded to one carbon, therefore it is primary. And here the carbon containing unpaired electron is bonded to 2 alkyl groups, means it is bonded to 2 carbon atoms, therefore it is secondary. And here it is bonded to 3 alkyl groups, means this carbon containing unpaired electron is bonded to 3 other carbon atoms, therefore it is tertiary. So this is the general representation of 3 types of carbon free radicals. Now let us move on to the example. So let me give R dash and R double dash as CH3 group here. Then the first one, primary, CH3, H dot. It becomes CH3, CH2. Then the name will be ethyl free radical. It is called ethyl free radical, is an example for primary carbon free radical. It is an example for primary carbon free radical. Second one, CH3, CH3, and here is a dot on a carbon. Dot represent unpaired electron, 2 methyl groups and a total 3 carbon atoms, and single electron, unpaired electron is present on the middle, that is secondary carbon, because this carbon is secondary as it is bonded to 2 other carbon atoms, and 3 carbon atoms are there, therefore it is called isopropyl free radical. What it is called? Isopropyl free radical, and it is secondary. Okay, then what is the example for tertiary? CH3, CH3 and a electron. So this carbon containing unpaired electron is bonded to 3 other carbon atoms, then this will be tertiary carbon. Therefore, it is a tertiary carbon free radical. Total 4 carbon atoms are there, correct? And one carbon is tertiary. And what is the name of this group? Tertiary butyl free radical. Tertiary butyl free radical. Ethyl, when it becomes a free radical, then ethyl free radical. Isopropyl group, CH3CH3. It is an isopropyl group, therefore it is isopropyl free radical, and this is tertiary butyl free radical. Because it is tertiary butyl group and the carbon containing unpaired electron, therefore it is tertiary butyl free radical, and it is an example for tertiary. It is an example for tertiary carbon free radical. Okay. So this is about the first reaction intermediate that is common in organic reaction mechanism. Now let us move on to the second one. Second one. So it is carbocation. Carbocation or carbonium ion. Carbonium ion. So whenever an atom or a group of atoms which is containing positive charge on a central atom, the name is always ends with IUM, ammonium, hydronium, chloronium, means it ends with IUM. Similarly here, carbon containing positive charge is carbocation. This is the representation. It is also called carbonium ion. Okay. Now, what is the nature of carbonium ion here? See here, methane molecule, correct? And it undergoes heterolytic cleavage. See here, this undergoes heterolytic cleavage if it is, then what you get? H, CH, CH, I'll take Cl here, and the carbon get the positive charge and Cl gets the negative charge, and this is called carbocation. Why it is called carbocation? Because carbon containing positive charge. During the bond cleavage, the loss of electrons takes place for the carbon because of heterolytic cleavage. Then how to define this? A chemical species which is formed by the heterolytic cleavage of a covalent bond where the carbon containing positive charge. And they are nothing but carbocation or the carbonium ion. So what are carbocations? Chemical species which are obtained by the heterolytic cleavage of covalent bonds during organic reaction in which carbon atoms containing positive charge. So the central carbon, if it contains a positive charge, then they are called carbocations or carbonium ions. So carbocations, carbon containing positive charge. If any positive charge is there on the carbon, then it is called carbocation or carbonium ion. Now let me give how many electrons are present in a valence shell of carbocation. See here, hydrogen, if we consider here, and here is a positive charge. So one bond means 2 electrons, there are 3 bonds are around, therefore there are 6 electrons in the valence shell. So it containing 6 electrons in the valence shell of positively charged carbon. The positively charged carbon containing 6 electrons in its valence shell. Then what is the state of hybridization? Again here we have, see here, 1 electron and 3 electrons. It also undergoes hybridization. So here no electron is here because this is vacant orbital. So only 3 electrons are shared by carbon, because 1 electron from hydrogen, 1 electron from carbon. Only 3 electrons are shared by carbon during the formation of a bond. Therefore, in its valence shell it containing only 3 electrons. So, it undergoes sp2 hybridization. It also undergoes sp2 hybridization and it forms 3 sigma bonds with the alkyl group or the hydrogen, and by utilizing its sp2 hybrid orbital. Utilizing sp2 hybrid orbital, it forms 3 sigma bond and it is left with one unhybridized orbital. Unhybridized, you know that. What do you mean by unhybridized orbital? Which is vacant. Vacant unhybridized orbital. So, this is vacant. In a carbon free radical, the unhybridized orbital containing 1 electron, but here this unhybridized orbital is vacant. There is no electron because the carbon shares only 3 electrons in the carbocation. So, therefore, there are 6 electrons in the valence shell. What is the state of hybridization? It undergoes sp2 hybridization and it forms 3 sigma bonds with by utilizing its 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals, and there is one vacant unhybridized orbital. What do you mean by unhybridized? Which does not involving in hybridization. Since the hybridization is sp2 here, what is the shape? The same, that is trigonal planar. Trigonal planar. So, these two are the carbon free radical and carbocations. Both are electron deficient. Both are electrophiles. The difference is carbocation is positively charged, carbon free radical is neutral electrophile. And what is the difference? State of hybridization is same. Geometry is also same, trigonal planar. So, the difference here is the carbocation containing one unhybridized orbital which is vacant, but in carbon free radical the unhybridized orbital is containing only one electron, the unpaired electron. So, it receives 2 electrons. It receives 2 electrons to complete its octet structure, as the unhybridized orbital is vacant here. So, therefore, since it receives 2 electrons, it is nothing but Lewis acid. So, carbocation is a Lewis acid, but carbon free radical is not a Lewis acid. Why? Because carbon free radical receives only 1 electron, but carbocation receives 2 electrons here. The Lewis acid is nothing but a species which can accept a pair of electrons. So, that is Lewis acid. Therefore, it is a Lewis acid. Carbocations are Lewis acids, but carbon free radicals are not Lewis acids. That you have to remember. Again, let us move on to the types of carbocations. Again, there are 3 types here. There are 3 types of carbocations. What are those? Again, primary carbocation, secondary carbocation and tertiary carbocation. How to represent? Primary R, H, H, and this is R, C, H, R dash. You have to remember this, how we can generally represent the carbocation. So, this is primary because positively charged carbon is attached to one carbon, and here the positively charged carbon attached to 2 other carbon atoms, and here positively charged carbon is attached to 3 other carbon atoms. Therefore, this is primary carbocation, secondary carbocation and tertiary carbocation, and you have to remember here R, R dash, R double dash are alkyl groups. They must be alkyl groups. Then only you can classify it as primary, secondary and tertiary. If they are hydrogen atoms, then they become only primary, because no carbon, positively charged carbon is attached to no other carbon atoms. Here 1, 2, 3. So 3 carbon atoms. Then what is the example? Just remove this dot here and put a positive charge. Then it becomes what? Isopropyl. Example for primary carbocation is ethyl carbocation, as the positively charged carbon is bonded to one other carbon, and here isopropyl carbocation, because here positively charged carbon is bonded to 2 other carbon atoms. Tertiary butyl carbocation. So this is the example for primary, secondary, tertiary carbocations. So instead of free radical, we need to change the positive charge on the carbon, and it becomes ethyl carbocation, isopropyl carbocation, and tertiary butyl carbocation. Okay. Now this is about the carbocations and the carbon free radicals. Both are electrophiles. One is neutral, this one is positively charged. And what is the important difference? Carbon free radicals are not Lewis acids, but the carbocations are Lewis acids. That you have to remember. Now let us move on to the next one. Third one, carbanion. So the third one is carbanion. How to represent? Then what are carbanions? They are nothing but the chemical species which are formed by the heterolytic cleavage of a covalent bond during organic reactions. Remember, but during heterolytic cleavage, if carbon contains negative charge, means it takes both the electrons during bond cleavage, then they are nothing but carbon ions. So they are nothing but carbon ions. What are carbon ions? The chemical species which are formed by the heterolytic cleavage of covalent bonds. During that heterolytic cleavage, both the shared pair of electrons are taken by the carbon atom, and thereby it contains a negative charge on it, or it gets a negative charge on it, then they are nothing but carbon ions. So the chemical species which are formed by the heterolytic cleavage of covalent bonds where the carbon containing negative charge are called carbon ions. So let us consider how to represent this carbon ions. Take again a methane molecule. Okay, and here is a pair of electron. It undergoes heterolytic cleavage like this. Both the bonded pair of electron is taken by the carbon. Then what you get? So carbon gets the negative charge and hydrogen gets the positive charge. You can call it as methyl carbanion. Why it is called carbanion? Carbon containing negative charge. Negatively charged ions are called anions. Hence it is carbon ion. Since carbon containing negative charge, it is called carbon ion. Okay. Now let us move on to the valence shell of carbon which containing negative charge here. Negative charge means again it is a pair of electron, and here is a pair of electron, and here is a pair of electron. Now calculate how many electrons are present in a valence shell of the carbon, where carbon atom of a carbon ion. 2 plus 2 plus 2 again 2, because both the electrons are taken by the carbon. One electron of carbon, another electron of hydrogen. Both the shared pair of electron is taken by the carbon. Therefore, total 8 electrons in the valence shell. So how many electrons in the valence shell of carbon atom which carrying negative charge in a carbon ion? Total 8 electrons in the valence shell of carbon in a carbon ion. Then what is the state of hybridization? So since it containing 1s2 single electron, and here it undergoes sp3 hybridization. It undergoes sp3 hybridization. In this sp3 hybridization, it forms 3 sigma bonds. 3 sigma bonds with the alkyl groups. It forms 3 sigma bonds with the alkyl group and one sp3 hybrid orbital containing a pair of electrons. So this is the geometry of the carbon ion. It undergoes sp3 hybridization. Out of 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals, it forms 3 sigma bonds with the alkyl groups. 3 alkyl groups may be same or different, and 1 sp3 hybrid orbital containing a pair of electrons, which containing a pair of electrons. So this is a pair of electron. Where it is present? It is present in a sp3 hybridized orbital, sp3 hybridized orbital, because it containing 8 electrons in the valence shell. The carbon which carrying a negative charge containing 8 electrons. Then what is the geometry? The expected geometry is for sp3 hybridization is tetrahedral geometry, but here this does not give tetrahedral geometry because which containing one non-bonding electron or the lone pair of electron on the carbon. So whenever the lone pair of electron present in a molecule or in an ion, the geometry changes to shape, different geometrical shape. So there is a distortion in the geometry of the molecule when there is a presence of lone pair of electrons. Since it containing one lone pair of electron on the carbon, so what is the shape? Pyramidal shape. So this is the geometry of the molecule, pyramidal shape. Carbon ion is pyramidal shape. It undergoes sp3 hybridization, but due to the presence of one lone pair of electron, the geometry is pyramidal shape. Okay. So because of why it gives a pyramidal shape? Due to lone pair, bonded pair repulsion. Correct? You know why there is a change in the geometry of the molecule due to the presence of lone pair of electron, and you know that VSEPR theory that you have studied in your chemical bonding unit. Due to lone pair, bonded pair electron, there is a distortion in the geometry of the molecule, and therefore tetrahedral geometry changes to pyramidal shape. So it undergoes sp3 hybridization, and therefore the shape will be pyramidal shape. So trigonal, pyramidal also you can say, and this forms an apex of the pyramid, and this becomes a base, the 3 alkyl groups. So this is about the geometry of carbon ion where it undergoes sp3 hybridization. Now let us move on to the types of carbon ions. Again, they are classified into 3 types. First one, primary carbon ion, secondary carbon ion, and the third one, tertiary carbon ion. How to represent? Primary or CH, and here R, CH, R dash, and tertiary R dash, R double dash. So here negatively charged carbon is bonded to one more carbon, therefore it is primary. Negatively charged carbon is bonded to 2 other carbon atoms, secondary, other carbon atoms of a alkyl group, and here it is bonded to 3 other carbon atoms, therefore it is tertiary. And you have to remember R, R dash, R double dash are alkyl groups, that you have to remember. Compulsorily they are alkyl groups. So then only they can call primary, secondary, and the tertiary. Now let us move on to the examples. Instead of positive charge, you write a negative charge here. So this is a negative charge. So then what is this? Ethyl carbanion, isopropyl carbanion. This is tertiary butyl carbanion. Tertiary butyl carbanion. So this is about the types of carbanions and examples for carbon ions. Okay. Now let us move on to the next reaction intermediate. It is nothing but carbenes. So move on to the fourth one is nothing but carbenes. Okay, fourth one, carbenes. So how to represent this carbene? So this is the representation of carbene. So this carbene is a reaction intermediate which containing 6 electrons in the valence shell of carbon, and thus it possesses incomplete octet. Incomplete octet. Okay. Since with incomplete octet it acts as an electron deficient, and hence it is a neutral electrophile, and it receives 2 electrons to complete its octet, but it is a neutral electrophile because of incomplete octet, and it is electron deficient. How many electrons are present? 6 electrons are present in a valence shell, in which 2 are bonded pair of electrons and 1 is lone pair of electrons. You know that what do you mean by bonded pair of electrons? Pair of electrons which are involved in bond formation. There are two pairs of electrons which are involved in bond formation with X and Y. Left with the 2 electrons which is present on the carbon, which are not involved in a bond formation, but they are present in a valence shell of carbon. They are present in a valence shell of carbon, and therefore they are called lone pair of electrons. So which containing 2 bonded pair of electrons and 1 lone pair of electrons, and remember it is a bivalent species. Then how to define these carbenes? So write down the definition. It is a neutral, or it is a neutral bivalent carbon species. It is a neutral bivalent carbon species which containing 6 electrons in the valence shell of carbon. Okay. So in which this containing 1 lone pair of electrons. So especially we can say it is a neutral bivalent carbon species. So neutral bivalent carbon species containing 1 lone pair of electrons, 1 lone pair of electrons and 2 bonded pair of electrons, 2 pairs which are involved in bond formation. So they are nothing but the carbenes. So especially the neutral bivalent carbon species which containing 2 bonded pair of electrons and 1 lone pair of electrons are called carbenes. So it forms 2 covalent bond with the 2 atoms or group of atoms, and that carbon containing 1 lone pair of electrons. Now here if you consider it is an containing incomplete octet, hence it is a neutral electrophile, but it is present in 2 types. Carbenes are of 2 types depending on its spin state. Depending on a spin state, we can classify it into 2 types. One is singlet and second one is triplet. So there are 2 types of carbenes. One is singlet, another one is triplet. What do you mean by singlet? In singlet, see here, 2s2 and 2px1, 2py1. So 2pz means the transfer of the electron does not take place here. Transfer of the electron does not take place from 2s orbital to 2pz. And this is 2s, 2px, 2py and 2pz. The transfer of the electron does not take place to the 2pz orbital here. It is vacant and it undergoes sp2 hybridization. It undergoes sp2 hybridization. So in which it forms 2 sigma bond by using sp2 hybrid orbitals, and it is left with one more sp2 hybrid orbital. It left with one more sp2 hybrid orbital which containing a pair of electron. So this is the representation of a singlet carbene. So in singlet carbene, no transfer of the electron takes place from 2s orbital to the 2pz orbital. 2pz orbital left with vacant, and this is unhybridized 2pz orbital. See here, this is unhybridized 2pz orbital. This is vacant. So I'll rewrite the singlet here. See here, singlet carbon undergoes sp2 hybridization. It forms 2 sigma bonds utilizing sp2 hybridization, left with one more sp2 hybrid orbital which containing a pair of electron which does not involved in bond formation. This is nothing but a lone pair of electron, and it is left with one unhybridized orbital, and this is vacant. So this is vacant, unhybridized. So sp2, in sp2 hybrid orbital, here the spin state is 1 because this spin is get cancelled with each other clockwise and anti-clockwise, and this containing sp2 hybrid orbital containing one lone pair of electron. These are not involved in bond formation, and both the electrons are present in a same shell. Therefore it causes inter-electronic repulsion. It causes inter-electronic repulsion. When the repulsion is more, stability is less. Therefore, singlet is less stable. Because of inter-electronic repulsion. Just you have to remember, in a singlet, the carbon undergoes sp2 hybridization where the 2 electrons are present in the same sp2 hybrid orbital and one vacant unhybridized orbital is there. Because of inter-electronic repulsion, it is less stable. You can also represent it as, so these are the 2 bonds, and here is one sp2 hybrid orbital, and this is vacant. Now how to represent triplet? In triplet what happens? So this is 2s2 and 2px1, and one electron is gets shifted to 2pz. Here the transfer of the electron takes place from 2s orbital to 2pz orbital. Here the spin state is 3. And it undergoes sp hybridization. So it undergoes sp hybridization. So here if it undergoes sp hybridization, then what is it forms 2 sigma bonds, and here it is left with 2 unhybridized orbitals. See here, 2 unhybridized orbital, each containing 1 electron, and it forms a 2 sigma bonds. So let me write the triplet here. Triplet is of the shape, see here, this is sp2 hybrid orbitals, and it forms a sp hybrid orbitals, and it forms a sigma bond. So it undergoes sp hybridization, left with 2 unhybridized orbitals. One is like this, another one is like this. See here, As we know that 2px, 2py, 2pz are perpendicular to each other, and these two unhybridized orbitals are also perpendicular to each other, each containing one electron here. So these two are unhybridized orbital. Unhybridized orbital. Correct? So what is the difference here? In singlet, no transfer of the electron takes place from 2s orbital to 2pz. Therefore, it undergoes sp2 hybridization. Two electrons are present in a same orbital, that is hybridized orbital, and which containing one unhybridized vacant orbital. Therefore, here it causes interelectronic repulsion. Therefore, the stability is less because of increase in the energy. Whereas in case of triplet, the transfer of the electron takes place from 2s orbital to 2pz. It undergoes sp hybridization. So utilizing 2 sp hybrid orbital, it forms 2 sigma bonds, and left with 2 unhybridized orbital which are half filled. Which are half filled. 2 unhybridized orbital which are half filled, 2 electrons which are not involved in bond formation. 2 are bonded pair of electrons, and 2 electrons are a pair of electrons which are present in unhybridized orbital. But here the 2 electrons are located in 2 different unhybridized orbitals which are perpendicular to each other. Interelectronic repulsion is very less, and since the interelectronic repulsion is less, then you can say this triplet is more stable. Energy is less, and therefore triplet is more stable. And how to represent the triplet? So to represent the triplet, this is one electron, and this is another electron in unhybridized orbital, and it forms bonds like this. And this is the representation. Now you can say what is the geometry of this. On the basis of sp2, we can expect here the trigonal planar, but because of the presence of lone pair, it possesses a bent structure, that is inverted way, bent structure, and here it is linear. Here it is linear. So linear geometry. So linear. Okay. So what is the geometry of singlet? This is bent and this is linear. Which is more stable? Triplet is more stable than what? More stable than singlet. Singlet. What is the reason? The reason is due to interelectronic repulsion in singlet, energy increases, stability decreases. But here, as the electrons are present on the 2 unhybridized orbitals which are perpendicular to each other, interelectronic repulsion is less, energy less, therefore the stability more. Therefore, triplet is more stable than singlet. Okay. Now, let us move on to the last one, nitrene. Examples let me give here for carbenes. Example, see, methylene carbene, dichloromethylene carbene, dimethyl carbene, and C6H5 phenyl carbene. So methylene carbene, this is dichloromethylene carbene, and this is dichlorocarbene, this is dimethyl carbene, okay. And what about this? Phenyl carbene. So these are the examples for carbenes. So the neutral divalent species which containing two bonded pair of electrons and one lone pair of electrons are called carbenes. Now let us move on to the nitrines. Move on to the nitrines. Fifth one, nitrines. So how to represent nitrines? This is the representation of nitrines. So there are two lone pair of electrons and one bonded pair of electron. Therefore it is a neutral monovalent nitrogen species. Neutral monovalent nitrogen species containing one bonded pair of electrons and two lone pair of electrons. So total electrons, 6 electrons in the valence shell of the nitrogen. There are 6 electrons in the valence shell as in case of carbenes. Nitrines also containing 6 electrons, but it is a monovalent because it forms only one bond with another atom or the group of atoms, as it containing only one bonded pair of electrons, but it containing two lone pair of electrons. So this is about nitrines. Nitrines are also neutral electrophiles. They are electron deficient as they are having incomplete octet. Incomplete octet. So carbon free radical, carbenes and nitrines are having incomplete octet, therefore they are neutral electron spaces. But here carbenes and nitrines, they are neutral electrophiles and they are also called Lewis acids because they receives a pair of electrons here as they are containing 6 electrons. But carbon free radical is a neutral electrophile, but it containing 7 electrons in its valence shell and it receives only 1 electron to complete its octet, therefore it is not a Lewis acid. So carbon free radicals are not Lewis acids, but carbenes and nitrines are neutral electrophiles and they are Lewis acids. So this is about the reaction intermediates that we can come across commonly we can come across during organic reaction mechanism. And in the next class, let us consider the electron displacement effects in the covalent bonds. And before going to that, let me give few examples to classify carbon ions and carbocations as primary, secondary and tertiary. So let me give the examples here. CH3, CH2, CH2 plus, second one CH3, CH, CH3, CH2 minus, third one CH3 plus, CH3, CH2, CH2, fourth one CH3, CH2, CH2 dot, fifth one CH3, CH2, CH minus CH3, okay. Sixth one CH3, CH2, CH3, CH3 minus. So let me give what are these? They are nothing but the reaction intermediates. You need to identify carbon ion, carbocation and carbon free radical, whether they are primary, secondary or the tertiary. You know that it is propyl, not isopropyl, propyl carbocation. It is propyl carbocation, correct? So is it primary or secondary? Yes, it is primary or secondary. Definitely it is primary because positively charged carbon is directly bonded to only one carbon, therefore it is primary. Okay, now this is isobutyl, carbon ion, correct? Carbon ion because it containing negative charge. Isobutyl, why it is isobutyl? 4 carbon atoms are there and the carbon chain is branched, but the negative charge is on the primary carbon only because this carbon is bonded to only one carbon. That you have to remember. How many carbon atoms with which the charged carbon is get attached. So the negatively charged carbon is bonded to only one other carbon, therefore it is isobutyl carbon ion. Definitely it is also primary, correct? Now this is, what is this called? Tertiary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pentyl, tertiary pentyl carbocation, as name itself indicates here. So, or you can also name it as a second isopentyl carbocation or tertiary pentyl carbocation because this positively charged carbon is bonded to 3 other carbon atoms, therefore it is tertiary carbocation. Okay, now what about this? 1, 2, 3, 4 N-butyl carbon free radical. Definitely it is primary because the carbon containing single electron, unpaired electron is bonded to only one other carbon. Okay, now here. So what is this? Secondary, that is butyl carbon ion, and definitely it is secondary because negatively charged carbon is bonded to 2 other carbon atoms, therefore it is secondary butyl carbon ion. It is secondary carbon ion. What about this? Tertiary pentyl what? Carbon ion. Tertiary because this negatively charged carbon is bonded to 3 other carbon atoms. Total number of carbon atoms present here is 5. Therefore, it is pentyl. Tertiary pentyl carbon ion. So, this is about the types of carbon free radical, carbocation, carbon ions, carbenes and the nitrines. You need to remember all these things, and in a next electron displacement effect of covalent bonds, we need to study about the stability of these carbocations, carbon ions and the carbon free radicals. Okay. So, let us continue with that concept in the next class. Thank you.